In physics, get wetin dem dey call scalar quantity and vector quantity. Those of us wey be physics students will understand. And vector quantity are quantities that has both magnitude and direction, while scalar quantity are quantity that has only magnitude but no direction. These two things is equivalent to life scenario. You understand? So as a young man and as a young guy, working hard, striving hard, to succeed in life, sometimes you just have to sit down and ask yourself some questions. You understand? Sit yourself down, ask yourself some certain questions. Which kind life I dey live? What am I living for? What are my purpose in life? And what is my direction in life? Wetin be my purpose? Why they born me on this earth? And where am I going to? Which is talking about direction. You understand? A man without purpose and direction is like a scalar quantity. He not get direction, he has only magnitude. You understand? While a man with purpose and direction is like a scalar, is like a vector quantity. That means when you define your purpose and direction in life, you are like a vector quantity, and vector quantities are quantity that has both magnitude and direction. You understand? And so the life day. So as a young man and as a young boy striving, as a young man and as a young boy striving to make it in life, like us, we are striving to make it. Sometimes you have to sit down and analyze your life. Sit down, think, reason, think deep, about life. Sometimes ask yourself some certain questions. Which kind of life I dey live? Am I in the right track? Am I in the right direction? What purpose am I here on earth for? You understand? So you need to do what we call self-reflection on your life. Sometimes ask yourself some certain questions like, where I dey come from, where I dey go? Where am I coming from? Where am I heading to? Questions like, in the next 2 years, what will be of me? In the next 3 years, where I go dey by next 3 years? Where I go dey in the next 5 years? Where I suppose dey? Those are questions. Those questions not supposed to be bother you as a young man and as a young guy, who is striving to make it and succeed in life. Sometimes ask yourself, the next 10 years or the next 5 years or the next 2 years, where I suppose dey or where I suppose dey by then. You understand? So all these questions, when you go dey ask yourself, it brings about self-reflection, and it helps brings about focus and redirection of your life. You understand? It help brings about direction, and they help to bring about focus about life. Sometimes we need to understand some things about life. The wise man he say, until you understand something about life become a mystery to you. Understand? So sometimes sit down and analyze your life. Am I making any good sense, or am I making any good direction? What is my purpose? Am I aligning myself with my purpose? Understand? Those questions not supposed to be bother you as a young man who is striving to make it and working hard to succeed in life like us. Understand? So by and large, these are the questions you're supposed to be bother. What's supposed to be bother you as a young man striving hard to make it. Understand. So that those questions will help to shape your life, helps make you focus, and helps give you direction. Understand. So that those questions will help you to put things right, which are not in the right direction. Will helps you to put things right and put it in a good order. Understand. And so the life just dey. So ask yourself questions. My journey is so far. Who will give me transport fare? Understand. So if you are a young man like us who is working hard, striving hard to make it, to succeed in life, bro, you have to be focused and get direction. Understand. uh those things will help to shape you, and will helps to make you be yourself, and makes you create a good order and create a direction for yourself. Understand. Life without direction is like a man journeying without, you know it's just like a man who won't drive motor without fuel. And you cannot drive motor without fuel. It's not possible. So life, there must be direction, where you dey go, where you dey come from, and where you dey go. Understand. So don't just be like a vector, don't just be like a scalar quantity that has only magnitude but no direction. Those are the questions like, what is my purpose in life? Or even though if you know your purpose in life, in fact you have scored yourself 10%, you know on the journey of destiny first. Understand. At least this video not to be long. I don't know. So if you watch this video to this extent, just drop an emoji or write my name in capital letter, Benko. One love.